going on, everybody? Today's topic, I'm going to be answering, I get a lot of questions about this. What gears am I running? What ratios and stuff like that. So me personally, but actually, let's start that back. Before you select what type of gears you want in your car, you got to have a goal on what your car is planned to do. Are you going for high-end miles per hour? Are you going roll racing? Are you doing drag, eighth mile, quarter mile? Are you going a road course? Are you doing autocross? So all those have like a big factor on what type of gears you're going to want to install in your car. So my car is predominantly going to be for track, meaning road courses, and roll racing. Drag racing, maybe if I ever go all-wheel drive with the 9th gen, I possibly might do it, but as of right now, I don't want to spend the type of money on it to get 1,000 horsepower axles, worry about shit breaking all the time. So drag racing, I'm not a big proponent on it. More roll racing and going to be on road courses. So let's get to what I got. So budget has a huge thing on which type of gears you're going to get. I mean, if I had money wasn't an option, or money wasn't a problem or an issue, I would have went with PPG or Allbines or something like that and got straight cut, go all out, pay $5,000 on a set of gears. But that's not realistic, so I went with gearx. I think them and M Factory are about made from the same people or something like that. So I went with the gearx Drag 2. I know they have a Drag 2 new version when the first gear comes straight cut and the gearing's a little bit different. So currently I have the gearx 1 through 4 Drag 2 with all the upgraded synchros, sleeves, and everything like that. So gearx, I got the first gear ratio is 2.313, second gear is 1.65, third gear is 1.304, fourth gear is 1.083, and I actually upgraded the fifth gear. I didn't like the gearx Drag 2 fifth gear, and also didn't like the they had another one that I was gonna get, but I didn't like their ratio, so I went with the RSX Type S fifth gear, which is 0.921, and I actually upgraded to the RSX Type S final drive, which was 4.38. The gearx, when I first got it with the stock final drive and the stock fifth gear, sorry about that, GoPro messed up. So like I said, I'm using the RSX fifth gear, final drive, stock 6 gear OEM gear. So the reason why, when I had the gearx 1 through 4 initially with the stock final drive, the car felt a little bit sluggish, I guess, because with the taller gear versus when I had the OEM gear set when I was making less horsepower. And I just didn't really like the gear ratio. So I've been like, hey, I need to figure out, I need to do something. So I decided, hey, I do roll races. These gears don't last long. And I also didn't like the drop of the fifth gear. I'll be posting that video here comparing to the fifth gear drop when I had OEM fifth gear and fifth gear drop when I had the when I have the RSX Type S gear. And I'll show that to you right now. Anyways, so you guys saw the difference between the two gears. The RPM drops a lot further down with the OEM fifth gear. To me, I didn't like it because what I'm planning on doing is going with a lower final drive, which gives me more miles per hour per gear. So I wanted something that will keep in a higher rev range because with my new setup, I'm trying to rev, or I'm going to be revving. Well, I do rev to 8,000. Once I get that new head on, I'll be revving to 8,500, maybe 9,000. We'll see. So I wanted the fifth gear not to drop as further down, to be out of the horsepower range. So I wanted it to keep into the upper RPM range. So once I switched to the final drive, the RSX Type S, and the fifth gear, Man, I love the way the car drives now. Now, granted, first gear can be a little bit shorter. So I know the Drag 2, new version of the Drag 2 with the first gear being short with the straight cut and it being a little bit shorter. I think the new gear is 2.8 and second gear is 1.894. So with that, it probably helped with daily driving because as of right now, with my twin disc clutch and with first gear being really long, it was at first it was very hard to start off in first gear. But now that I got used to it, I just put a little more gas. It runs smooth, so I'm used to it now. But I would probably tweak it just a little bit. Would I go with 2.8? Maybe. I might go with like a 2.5, but 2.8 probably won't be that bad. Actually, we're gonna post up a 3 screenshots that I did with the OEM gears, with the OEM everything, final drive everything. Compare that with the gearx 1 through 4, and compare that with the gearx 1 through 4 with the RSX Type S 5th gear and OEM 5th gear and final drive. So let me actually look that up, and I'll post this up for you guys. So yeah, so I have a comparison of, let me see here. Okay, so I actually changed the final drive in all 3 of them. And what I did was, if I would have had the OEM gears, which I can't have because they're weak as fuck, OEM gears with the 4.3 final drive, the gears would actually been pretty decent. I actually don't like the drop in first and second gear, which drops down in the 5,000 range. Compared to my setup now, drops down to 6,000 to close to 7,000 range with the gearx with the 4.3 final drive. And also did a comparison. So let's say I did upgrade the first gear and second gear with the gearx Drag 2 updated version with the 2.8 and 1.894. I don't like the drop. First gear at 8,500 RPM would be maxed out at 41 compared to what I have now to 63. However, the drop will be down to 5,300 RPM, which I guess it doesn't matter in my situation because I'm not dragging it. And second gear would drop, it tops out at 65, and the drop will be to 5,900 versus what I have now. Second gear would be 88 miles per hour and drop down as to 6,700. So if I'm doing roll races, I think personally the gearx the original will be better, especially if I'm going 40 or 50, because second gear with the new gearx gear set, man, if you're topping out at 65 miles an hour, 8,500 RPM, you can't really do a fourth gear roll, I don't think, in second. You'll be too high up, I think, and you'll just spin. So yeah, there's a website. I'll put the link in the description that you guys can mess with the gear set. It's a very good website. It gives you charts, it gives you diagrams, everything like that to compare gear sets that you put. It also it calculates the put your tire diameter and stuff like that. So it's not super precise. You know, there's other factors that comes to it, but it's pretty fairly accurate. But like I said, my current gear set, I love it. gearx 1 through 4 Drag 2, the original, RSX Type S 5th gear and final drive, and I'm using the OEM 6th gear. So basically my race gears are 1 through 5 and 6th gear is my cruise gear. And I think at 80 miles an hour I'm at cruising around like 3,000 RPM. So with the 8,000 RPM red line. So, and that will all be shifted up once I change the head swap. But yeah, that's about it, guys. That's my my gear setup. I love it now. Like I said, if I could find it, I might tweak the first gear, but I've gotten used to it. So at this point, I'm not really going to do that. And plus, like I said, I don't like the drop of the new gear set of the gearx. So yeah, that's about it, guys. If you guys have any more questions, hit me up on IG. A lot of you guys do hit me up on there, asking me questions about my car, and especially on the gearing. So yeah, guys, till next time.